Greetings, minions. Pibbling Z here. I'm back and I'm not sick anymore. I am so sorry it's taken me so long to record anything. As you can tell, if you saw my last video, I was really sick for a while with some weird thing. I don't even know really what it was. And then the holidays happened and then something really good happened, but it's also really stressful. I think I might have mentioned it in the last video, but I don't really recall. My editor sent the copy edits for my new book for fall 2020. And so I've been going through them and it's a little stressful because they're due on the 2nd. So I haven't really had time to film because we had the holidays and we had everything and I was sick with weird mystery bug. And that was it. That's it. And I'm good now. I'm healthy. I'm here. I'm happy. I missed you all so much. Did you miss me? Yeah, you missed me. So today I want to talk to you guys about world building. I know I've been kind of putting this off or just not really getting around to it. And I've been thinking about it. And I think one of the reasons it's a subject that I'm hesitant to speak on is just because there are so many different ways to do world building, so many different ways to build the world that you're going to write your story in. And I don't want you guys to get the impression that there's only one right way. And I tend to look at my writing process and I go, nobody writes like I do in the way that I do, and I'm probably doing it wrong. And that's the way I always kind of feel, even though there's no wrong way to come to the page. So I think the reason I've been avoiding it a little bit is because I've been trying to figure out exactly how I world build, because there are so many different ways. So today we're going to talk on that a bit, and we'll catch up and talk about a bunch of different stuff. And you guys, please like the video and subscribe, ring that bell, do your thing. Make sure you don't miss any vids because there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. And I promise I will do all I can not to be sick and to be posting regular videos again. I know it has to be killing you guys that you have not had any inspirational wisdom from me. So watch for that coming soon. Now, when it comes to me and world building, everything I write, the world, the dialogue, the story itself, everything comes from character. Okay, so I always begin with a character. And for me, building a character is really, it's part of world building. I think that people make up the world that we live in. And I think that people make up every world that they live in. So for me, character is very important in that regard. Usually the character comes to my mind first. They're somebody that pops into my brain, and then I see the world through their eyes. So like when Vlad is walking through Bathory, and he sees the school and he sees all these different things. When he goes into the bell tower and he sees, his dad's chair and stuff like that. Those are all things that I'm seeing through his eyes. Those are important elements to the story, but I'm finding them out as Vlad shows them to me. So that's a really important key aspect for me. Now, a lot of people are very organized when it comes to world building, and that's wonderful. I'm less so. I was with writing Legacy of Trail Soulbound, because in a fantasy world, if you write fantasy, please know you've got to write all your details down. You've got to really thoroughly world build, because you have to know every single thing you can. There's a lot of detail that goes into fantasy writing. It was very difficult to write, but also one of the most rewarding things. But it was a different kind of world building because I had to sit down and go, okay, in this society, how do finances work? What are clothes like? How are women treated? And I had to go through everything. What's the weather like? What kind of monsters or animals are around? And, what's the social hierarchy? And what is the political system like? So there were so many different questions. So one of the ways that a lot of people world build, and I did this when it came to Trill, is I sat down and I took all of these different notes and basically interviewed myself about the world and asked those little things, about like what the money was like and things like that. And it really helped when I was interviewing myself to kind of smooth out my ideas and really help me be able to wrap my head around the world I was trying to see. Something that really comes in handy with that, you can go online and you can search, and there are lots and lots of different questionnaires out there that will help you determine what questions you really need to answer. If you look up world building questionnaire, you're going to find a ton of them, and they really are helpful. Not every question is going to be something that applies to your world, and that's okay. And don't agonize over answering every single question. The idea is to have those questions in the back of your mind so that while you're writing, you can kind of pick those things apart and discover them. And then when you're going back through, let's say you filled out this questionnaire and you have all of your answers to it, to exactly how you're going to build your world. But there are a couple other questions that kind of popped up. When you're going back through and editing, that's when you can really answer those questions. 9 times out of 10, most of those things are not going to appear on the page, but you have to know it. You have to know the world you're writing in. And that's true for any genre. Now, for me, I told you I generally see everything through character. So basically, it's kind of like peeling things away to reveal the world to me. I often, except for Trill, I often will, except for Trill and except for my Fall 2020 book, which is very complex. That's the most complex world building I've ever done. But I tend to go through and discover that, this is how politics work in that world. You know, when it came to like the Elysian councils, and you know, those things were kind of revealed to me and became more and more developed over time through a lot of different drafts. That's one of the reasons, if I were one of those people that would naturally, you know, do the thing that's better for me and like easier in the long run and fill out a questionnaire and interview myself. If that were something that I did, writing would probably be easier. But, you know, do as I say, not as I do. I like the way that I write, but at the same time, it's a little frustrating, I think, sometimes because I have a lot more editorial stuff to do in the end, where if I did all those right things, I would probably just be able to, you know, write a draft, edit it once or twice, and then be done. But I'm not like that. I'm a person that needs to edit. And as an example of things I should have been doing all along, but I hadn't been until recently, I never believed in outlining a book. I always thought that outlining a book would really kind of suck the life out of the story, that it wouldn't feel natural, that it wouldn't be enjoyable to plan everything out. And I've now found, if you've watched my other writing videos, I have now found that connecting the dots like that actually helps me, because basically it gets the big planning out of the way, and then I can just play and I can live in the world and I can just really enjoy the process. So if you are opposed to outlining, I understand. I really, really do. But I would encourage you to give it a shot, because it really does make things a lot easier. And I think the same goes for world building, especially with fantasy, and sci-fi too. That if you really sit down and develop all of those aspects of a world and have that there in your head, it's easier than I think to pull your characters from those worlds. Like, that's how I met Kaya, really, was the world came together and then in my mind she came out. And the thing is that it was a really strange experience, because that tends not to happen for me. I told you, everything for me comes from character, but that was a kind of a one-time thing, and it was very strange. It was interesting though, because every book that you write, of course, is completely unique. But I did enjoy it, and it was a good book. If you have not read it, please check it out. I'll put a link in the description. It's called Legacy of Trill Soulbound. Don't be mad at me about the end, because just trust me on this. I have stuff to talk to you guys about soon, but not just yet. So if you're a writer, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video that you're probably a writer. If you're a writer, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework today, okay? Everybody loves homework. Nobody loves homework. So if you want a little bit of homework, you're going to have to do this. Go, and I will put a link in the description to a really good questionnaire when it comes to world building. I want you to go and fill this out, you know, take a day or two, fill it out with the world that you want to create. Answer those questions, and then really spend some time picturing it in your mind, okay? So go and do your homework, and then in the next video, we'll discuss a little bit more about character development, because this is the kind of stuff I know you guys want to hear about, and I have my own process. There is no wrong process. There's no wrong way to come to the page. Just come to the page. Am I right, Alonzo? Alonzo says I'm right. So anyway, you have your homework. Go do it. I can't wait to hear what you guys have come up with. And as always, you can always leave questions down in the comments, or, you know, any kind of thing that you want to tell me. Please leave them there, and I'll post a couple of videos on world building, on character development, which is what we're going to discuss next. And then if you guys have further questions, I'm happy to post more writing and publishing videos. Just drop me a line, let me know what's going on, because I do want to know what you guys want to talk about, because there's a lot. When people will say, hey, talk more about writing, talk about publishing, those are huge things. So pick different things about those that you want to know the answers to, and if I can give you the answers, I totally will. If I can't give you the answers, I will point you in the direction of where the answers are. That's the way it works. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. 2020 is going to be a year of newness and freshness and freedom. So let's all just kind of take a deep breath, let go of the last year, and dive into a new one with a lot of hope and good energy. And if you're going to do anything, you know, adult and party-ish or whatever and everything, then just please be safe. No drinking and driving, you know, and just really, really take care of yourself and watch out for the strangers. Not like the weird strangers, but the other weird strangers, you know, and take care of yourself and be as safe as you possibly can. I will be spending it with Uncle Paul and with the girl, and we are going to play some Cards Against Humanity. So there's no better way for us to usher in the new year. Anyway, guys, Happy New Year, and I will see you next time when we discuss character development. That's all from me, minions. Bye-bye.